But I do think that this is important, because it is the coming together of the totality of our, whatever you want to call us. I don't care what we call ourselves, of our consciousness, spirit, human being, whatever it is we want to call ourselves, but the coming together of all of us, the entirety of our experience and our consciousness, the coming together of it, the seeing the truth of all the dimensions of our experience, and letting go of in order to do that, we have to start to actually contend with our experience rather than all the philosophical descriptions of our experience. So before I go to questions, I'll just add this last little point, which is that this particular arena where when I'm talking about the discovering a spiritual autonomy, but in your humanity, a spiritual sovereignty that's based in your humanity, is really what love is really all about. That is what makes it possible. That's the avenue through which it happens. It's not just an experience of aha realization of transcendent wisdom. That's very, very, very powerful. This is an experience of sort of a transcendent wisdom, but in the form of an absolute love. Because it's only that there's a certain quality of love. By quality, I mean a certain kind of experience of love. It's not anything that we normally think of as human experience. Falling in love, friendships, all of that stuff. It's not what we think of as love, I think, when a lot of people have done various things where they practice various kinds of devotion, where you're kind of creating a kind of love, spiritual kind of love. Is a completely different quality of love. I call that quality of love redemptive love. Right? It's not even agape. Martin Luther King talked about agape a lot, which was universal love, absolute love for all of our brothers and sisters of the whole universe, of all beings and all creatures. You could talk about it as God's love. But redemptive love is something that cuts to the bone of one's human experience. It doesn't transcend the human experience. It doesn't uplift you into a higher dimension of experience. It actually brings the higher dimension of experience down into the grittiness of your human experience. That's redemptive love. That's different. And that kind of love has as much power as transcendent realization, as wisdom, or what we call in Zen prajna, transcendent wisdom. But redemptive love has just as much power to dispel illusion, to knock out or dispel conflict, internal conflict. And the experience of it, which is why I use the word redemptive, is because it feels redemptive. Undeserved. Not needing to be deserved, you could say. Instead of uplifting you into heaven, it's heaven penetrating down through you. it's almost a form of, it forces you to appreciate. It absolutely insists on it. It's a quality of gratitude, I suppose, as well. But I don't want to talk about it too much because it's one of those things that you don't want to defile by being too worried about it. I just want to throw it out there as if I have faith in anything, it is faith that we all share in the exact same potential. None of us more or less. I mean, we do have certain human potentials that people have more or less. You know, you might be a great musician and I might be an awful one and all that. But in our essential real natures, we all share the same truthfulness. Because we all share of the same truthfulness, what I often try to do is speak to that truthfulness that we do share. That we share, that is there. And knowing that it's there, absolutely knowing that it's there, I also know that it doesn't have to be produced, it doesn't have to be made, it doesn't have to be created, it doesn't have to be given from one to another. I know that it can't be given from one to another. If anything, these talks are to elicit it. Do you know what I mean? To elicit something. Call it forth, I guess you would say. As if to say, do you remember? Don't try to create any of this. Just let it come forth. Let it come forth, do you know? It's always wanting to anyway, do you know? Some of us get it the easy way, some of us get it the hard way, you know.